We do hire entry level directly out of school.
What do you feel doesn't work?
I'm definitely skewed towards the ability to look at the stylization of something.
Hard skills, soft skills.
A new hire's there and you're watching them do something. What is that? How do I not know about this? Please stop.
AI, not AI?
Can we zoom in on the hands?
Look, I have 5 fingers. I'm not AI. Maybe.
How did this happen? When was this normal?
Generalist or specialized artist?
We are looking for folks who have both.
When I work in an iconic franchise like The Sims, dream of creating art for game played by millions, then this episode is for you. We're joined by Jessica Stitz and Lacey Bannister, leaders at Maxis Studio, the team behind The Sims. They had art and animation and are always on the lookout for fresh talent. Why does Maxis hire people fresh out of college? What do you need in your portfolio? Could they spot an AI-generated image? Find out. This is Get Hired.
Get hired.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ninelle Anderson. I'm CEO of Devoted Studios, and I'm your host at Get Hired. It's a podcast where we interview the most amazing, creative art directors in the industry, and it was an idea to help the industry to get hired, to get promoted, to learn the tips about your career, to learn how to make your portfolio better. So if you're into that, tune in. And if you like what we do, subscribe, share, like, let us know what you think about it in the comments. Today we have amazing guests from Maxis, the developers of The Sims, Jessica Stitz and Lacey Bannister. Jess, Lacey, do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
I started out at Maxis right out of school on Sims 3, worked on Sims 4, took a brief side journey and joined Riot Games for a couple of years, and now I'm back at Maxis. And I did the math recently. It's actually 16 years in the industry.
Lacey beats you, though, with 20 years on Sims. Lacey?
After 15 years, who's counting anymore? I have been with Maxis. It will be 20 years next month. 20 years. So I started in 2005. Started on Sims 2 console. From there, went to Sims 3. I worked on Sims 3 Pets. A couple of more expansion packs with Sims 3. Then I went back to Sims 2 for product, all console games. I don't know if you've heard of Castaway, but that was another fun little side project that I was getting to work on. From there, I went on to a bunch of handhelds. So I worked on a couple of Wii titles of Sims Animals and Sims 3 3DS. And from there, have been on Sims 4 ever since.
Well, both of you have a very exciting and long-lasting career, but how all of that started? Like, how did you get your first gig? What helped? What worked?
I think we have similar stories with this one. So I went to college for game art and design, knew I wanted to get into it, networked well with my classmates at the time. And it was a former classmate recommended me for a job opening for a contract role as an object modeler. And he had also gotten the job because of another student that had graduated the year before. And I think she also got a job from someone before. So we were a whole chain of grads from the same place.
So it's all referrals. Referrals work. Lacey, was it the same for you?
Yeah, for me, it's kind of a interesting story. When I graduated from college, my dream was to get into feature film. And I was actually offered my first position. I was living in Florida at the time. That's where Redland College of Art and Design is as well. And was offered a position with Madden. And I made a very bold choice to decline that job at such a successful product with EA, because it didn't necessarily feel like it was authentic to me. So I pursued another job with EA with The Sims, which I love The Sims. It was character animation, and I was lucky enough that I was accepted to the role. And I started as a full-time hire back in 2005.
We're beyond excited to bring this episode in partnership with Devoted Fusion. If you're a gaming studio hunting for insanely talented freelance artists, or you're an artist searching for a new gig, Devoted Fusion makes it super easy to connect and work on projects together. We take care of payments, paperwork, everything that people hate, so everybody can work and focus on creating the best content they can. If you're interested, check the link in the description of the video.
both of you are hiring managers. Like, how do you feel the requirements have changed or evolved over this time?
I think one of the things that I love about Maxis, it was really beneficial to me, and we still do this, is hiring students that are right out of school. And when we have the need that fits, like taking someone on knowing that they're not going to know exactly the ins and outs of how a game dev studio runs, but being willing to train them up. And that has felt pretty consistent throughout my entire time here.
Do you guys have a training division within Maxis?
Not a training division. It's more the artists are really good at onboarding other artists. And it's almost like a career development step for other artists. Like, okay, now you're going to be the one that's onboarding this new person and training them up. So you're advancing two artists at the same time.
We do hire a lot of entry-level animators onto the team directly out of school with zero game experience, zero engine experience. And over the years, we actually have developed a pretty extensive training program that helps to onboard brand new animators who have zero experience in games, to introduce them to a game engine, etc. Our animation style implementation in engine. So we're pretty proud of that program, and it continues to evolve with our games. So to that point, the original question of how has hiring evolved? It evolves with the evolution of our products and what is needed at the time. So compared to when I was hired, it's very, very different. The level of quality, we continue to raise the bar with every single product, and every single hire who comes through the door continues to like even blow that out of the water. So maybe it's more us trying to keep up with, how incredible these education programs have become over the years.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point, in that one of the things when we bring someone new on, for me, is always almost quizzing them and learning from them on what the things they've learned, because they'll be doing something in a program I've used my entire career, like Maya, for example. And you get stuck in your way. You're like, oh, this is how I do this thing. And then a new hire is there and you're watching them do something and they use some shortcut. I'm like, wait, what is that? How do I not know about this? Please stop. I need you to just don't worry about what you're doing and tell me how you did that. And it's just, tech is constantly evolving and we invest in staying up to date with it, but it's not the same as being a fresh, like someone that's really getting into it and learning it from scratch for the first time.
Tell me more about the studio. What is the philosophy? What is the culture? What type of people are you guys trying to hire?
The culture at Maxis being very collaborative, inclusive. The animation too, as I mentioned, is over 50% women, and multiple different cultures on the team, and we're not stopping there. We're continually looking to increase the diverse perspectives on our products, because that's who we make the Sims for. That is something that's really special. Working on the team is how important diversity and inclusion is.
Yeah, and it's so directly ties to the product we make, where you're trying to authentically give something to players so they feel represented. And what better way to do that than to have someone on the team that personally has experience with this?
How scary is the interview process at Maxis? Is portfolio the key thing that you're reviewing, or it's a lot about hard skills, soft skills? Like, tell me more.
On the animation side, definitely the portfolio is a critical aspect of what we look for when we're bringing animators onto the team. It's the very first thing that we look at. So we're looking for a specific set of aesthetic skill that meets, one, what we're trying to achieve potentially for the project that we're working on. And certainly there are certain specifications as far as keyframe animation that are very unique, semi-unique to The Sims. It's 99% keyframe animation. So we are looking for folks or animators who have both high aesthetics and high technical.
It's the same thing for the art side, where it's this really interesting blend where I care heavily about the aesthetics and seeing you can do something in a stylized manner. But then a lot of what we deal with on The Sims, because it's this life sim and you can interact with everything, is that technical side of how you build that into it. Even something as simple as a chair is actually really complex underneath the hood. And we expect artists to be able to think about that and figure it out and collaborate with all the other disciplines to work on that. You really see things all the way through from start to finish, where sometimes we have an artist even doing the concept phase of things all the way through to final implementing it into the engine, which is a lot and sort of scary sometimes, but that gives you so much ownership over what you're making that I think it's a really rewarding experience.
What do you feel like doesn't work in the portfolios when they're submitted for the Sims team and you're like, it's not going to fly?
The number one thing I see with portfolios is not ease of access to a portfolio. So I think, making it very easy for a hiring manager to access your portfolio, whether it's one button click on a blank website, otherwise, is exactly what we need. We're not looking to click 15, 20 different times in order to find nested content or individual pieces. Although we will if we need to explore and really find that content ourselves. But the easier you can make it for a hiring manager to see all your work in one place is I think the very first step.
And for me, speaking to the style of things, is if someone only has really hyper realistic, detailed, like image scan type pieces in their portfolio, I'm not going to reject it. Like, I'll look at what they have to offer, but I'm definitely skewed towards someone that shows the ability to look at the stylization of something. How do you take something realistic and then translate it into something that's more whimsical, more stylized, but still has the heart of that object to it?
My favorite question, generalist or like specialized artists? Like, who do you prefer to hire?
It's going to depend a lot on what we're looking for at the time. Like, there are certainly cases where we've got this really tough problem that's going to take a lot of time, and I need someone that's really the subject matter expert in doing that thing. Like, are you really, really good at making hair? Are you really good at making plants or something like that? But generally, when we think of all of the jobs I've hired for, it's skewing more towards generalist, in that we need someone that can handle, like I was saying, that seeing something from start to finish. And that's generally where you find that kind of skill set of maybe you do have to jump in and do some rigging, and you do have to do some concept, and you need to hit all of that. So you're not as specialized in one thing, but you know how to see it through.
We post our job descriptions. They will have in exactly what we're looking for. So for a certain project, it might be a generalist that we're looking for because of the size of the team, or they need to wear many hats. That will be the guide for really how to cater a portfolio or demo reel, well, both, to that specific job requirement. So I've worked on both, where you really need a generalist mindset and set of skills that go along with that, to more specific requirements, like the Sims 4 animation team that's very specifically focused 100% on animation and the responsibilities that go along with that.
First question from Altruistic Ad. I'm trying to kickstart my career in 3D character art, and I have had no luck applying for jobs for the past month. Not even one interview. I don't have a professional art education. I've been working on a portfolio for the past 6 months with the professionals helping me. I've been told the portfolio is suitable for a junior role or an internship, but I've applied to about 100 job listings all across Europe and North America. I'm in Sweden, and hasn't gotten me anywhere. What would you advise?
One of the main ones that I recommend is if you can find a dev that's willing to sit down and talk to you and coach you through it. Just getting the back and forth of what are you really looking for? What are you applying for with the jobs? Because like Lacey was saying earlier, sometimes there's things you can do to cater your portfolio towards the jobs you're looking for that make you a more appealing candidate. So just when we're speaking to the amount of jobs to apply to, is your portfolio catering to what those companies are looking for at the time?
Things like, to Jessica's point, places like, although this is Sweden, so the equivalent of something like Lightbox, where they offer portfolio reviews. A lot of times Maxis, we will go and provide career guidance or free portfolio reviews at those types of conferences to exactly this, to help the next generation of artists and animators really hone their skills to be the next ones to work with us in the future.
Lawrence Rasty, what skills or traits do you look for that make an artist stand out beyond just their portfolio?
If we're very interested in the skill sets that they're demonstrating, we will bring folks in to be able to start having conversations. And so a lot of the qualities we're looking for beyond the initial demonstration of their work are, how do they collaborate with others? Do they have a open mindset? Are they looking to grow their skill sets? So there's other qualities that are going to help them thrive in the environment with fast turnaround times, and etc. So there's a lot more qualities that we look for.
I think especially knowing how collaborative games normally is, especially at Maxis, a lot of this is showing the initiative to ask questions. When you get to that interview state, it always feels better when someone has clearly been thinking about this and is asking questions about the role, both because it shows you're interested in that back and forth. Like, we need someone to go into meetings with engineers and animators and be willing to poke and ask questions about it. And just shows you've been thinking about what do you want to get out of this too.
Anna, despite the nearly equal number of women and men among the gamers, the percentage of women in leadership position is still low. Only 5% of gaming studios have women in leadership, according to stats. Is it possible to change that?
I mean, it is definitely changing. I was in a meeting 3 weeks ago that was all senior leadership above my level, and it was all women in the room, which is a really weird moment to look around and be like, wait, how did this happen? When was this normal? So I think there's a shift and it's changing, and we're helping do that. So more women should apply for jobs in games.
There are actions that we can do too, as far as advocating for other women, joining ERGs or employee resource groups where women are helping other women and consulting or coaching, mentoring other women. And I think that has a snowball effect over time, to where the more that we set a standard for supporting one another, it starts to set the tone of the culture in a studio. So I would say definitely, I think we have a responsibility as leaders in our industries to help set those standards.
Also, if you live in LA, I run Wonder Women and Video Games Mixer. Find me on LinkedIn. I will happily add you, or Southern California. But I'm sure there is a lot of other mixers in different places, and that's where we connect. We build culture, we build safety net, we build relationship, and support each other over time. We're going to show you 5 different images, and you would need to figure out which one of them is AI, which one of them is made by a human.
I'm really liking the outfit design on this one. And the shine on the gold pieces is so cool. What do you think, Lacey?
It's a beautiful piece. There are things that, as an animator, like the pose, that I would provide constructive feedback on, to really emphasize what is happening with the bucket and the things floating up. Is that intentional? I don't know what those are. So that leads me to believe that maybe that this could be AI generated, because I don't know. I want to draw on the screen. What are those 3 things floating above the jar on this character's right hip?
Normally you'd want grounding elements with the rest of the design to help you tell what those things are. Show it in the pot if that's where it's supposed to be coming from.
Well, let's not forget, not every created character is for a video game, right? It could be for a personal portfolio. So not all of it is thought through of how it's going to animate. Okay, next.
Very nice. I wish I could pull off those boots.
Can we zoom in on the hands, please? Okay, correct number of digits. Oh, we're missing a digit on that hand. So I'm going to also...
It could be tucked behind.
Oh, right. That wasn't the thumb. Oh, got it.
I mean, it looks like something if I was a video game character, I'd want to wear it personally. But I can't make everything just about what I want.
I like that, with this weapon, it's posed in a way where it's not... Right, it's highlighting this weapon.
I'm only concerned if she would need to fight with that weapon, how would she not chop her own arm off?
It's true. The joy of video games, though, sometimes you can suspend that. Going with the more outlined comic book style. I don't know, maybe is easier to do in AI sometimes, but can definitely be done really well.
I would say with, of course, animator here, I'm going to talk about the posing, but with this pose, I don't get any kind of emotional feedback from it. It feels somewhat stiff to me. It feels very, very almost symmetrical. I do feel like, especially in the face, I don't get a sense of anger. I think the emotion could be improved here, even if it is, a hero pose in that sense. I'd like to see a little bit more dynamic variation in the posing.
I think on a similar lines, this feels like a good secondary or not background exactly, but I wouldn't picture this as the main character of anything. But I love the treatment of it. The metal treatment is great.
Love that. Next.
Ooh.
Ooh, spooky.
As much as, and we're just talking about when we see portfolios too, like you need to see something where you understand the underlying, like, how does this actually look? But when you see a bold piece with strong lighting, it definitely catches your eye. So a strong technique to get something noticed is play with your lighting for your hero shot.
I want to know more about this character. Like super
Very
intriguing, very mysterious. A couple of things that are both intriguing and also, the jewel stitching or jewelry on the character's face, right? Like what is that piece like on the bridge of her nose? The piece that's kind of coming down from her left eye. I want to know more about that. It's not right. There's something about it that's not clearly reading who this character is about it, but it's also intriguing in a way.
It's kind of hard to read the fabric that looks like attached to the neck piece. It is kind of hard to read what kind of material this is supposed to be or what the form of it.
Last one.
There is something about the lighting and rendering quality that reminds me of a lot of AI generated pieces.
Very well done.
Yes, that is
too polished.
Yes, exactly. Too polished. Don't believe it. So many muscles. Oh man.
I do like the lighting. Oh, this one. It's well done. The faces lit really well. You see the rim light, the blue on the character's right side of the face, and like really shaping in the outside of the right side of the body.
Can we zoom in on the hands? Is that the end of a nail on that one finger that should be the knuckle? Like, is there a fingernail in that knuckle a little bit? And the blending of the finger into the pinky?
What is happening with the thumb?
One of them two of them are behind.
Mm-hmm.
The gesture of the thumb does feel like it's at an angle that just isn't quite natural.
AI, not AI?
This one's winning for me for AI. I'm curious what you think, Lacey.
Although the lighting is pretty, the fingers do throw me in the realm of AI as well.
But you need to choose one AI and one favorite. Look, I have 5 fingers. I'm not AI. Maybe. But which one is your favorite?
I think I'm gonna have to give it to number 2. It's a close one. For me, it's a lot of the storytelling that I instantly am getting with this character holistically. Like, the pose is doing so much. Like, I feel like I understand this character's personality just by looking at it. The outfit choice ties into it perfectly.
Lacey, which one is your favorite?
I think it's 2 because of the eloquence of the posing.
I mean, let's be honest, you both like the boots.
It's the boots. I'm not gonna lie. It's also one of those things that
I want the weapon, right?
yeah. Well, I admit there's a lot of things in this that would be really hard for us to do in our game. Where I'm like, oh, I want this, like the cape draped over the shoulder. So
Yay.
good.
The layers and the attention to the clothing. I'm a huge costume buff, so I really appreciate all the small details in this one.
Construction details.
And you have to choose the AI one.
I think that the last character I'm going to say this guy. He's AI.
Yeah.
Jess,
I think,
do you agree?
Yeah, I'm aligned with this one.
Ta-da-da-tum, ta-da-da-tum. And today in the competition, AI versus humans. Humans win.
Yay!
But I think this one is an easy one. I mean, until Arsene zoomed in on the fingers, you were like, I don't know, this one looks cool. But the fingers is literally the only thing that's getting trickier. And I was about to say that Vinicius Manzelewski is the author of the one number 2. So very excited. Vinicius, your work is the chosen one. Vinicius would be great.
This is adorable. But very charming on the character design. I really like the color palette on this. Like, it's very warm. Like, this is such a cozy piece. I say this close up, I'd maybe put a little higher res in the ear. But again, if this is for video, it depends on what it's for. But the brushstrokes in here that are coming through are really fun. Like, this is a very unique stylized piece that's hitting the look.
It'd be interesting to understand, like, are these gestural, how long some of these more loose drawings took.
When we're reviewing portfolios, normally it's nice to even see like, what did you use? What was this for? Because sometimes you'll share something. It's like, this is meant to just be like a visual study of something, or is it meant to be a game ready art asset? That context really helps set the expectations for it. Because this looks like a printed miniature that I want. And it looks like it's on a miniature base.
I was about to say, this doesn't look like a game piece.
Yeah, I always love like the chiseled, simplified rocks like this. It's an interesting mix of the textures that I might choose to push everything either more uniformly towards the detail or more simplified. Like you're getting a really harsh, like this feels much simpler, whereas this is very detailed.
I love how different the art pieces are, like from very, very stylized with brush strokes and stuff to like more realistic stuff and just like very highly detailed. This
range is really good. I agree. One of the things I always love seeing is the attention to details of how something would actually exist. Like construction details are huge, but the storytelling of, this candle is actually melting and the wax is hanging over the side. It's hard to get when you have to do a modular video game where the pieces work everywhere, but it's that kind of little storytelling piece, even in environment aspects, that really resonate and draw my attention.
Who's next? Scander.
Nice. Good capturing of the emotion and the pose of this one. And this is a good example of how you set the scene of the pieces you're sharing does have an impact. Like having some kind of background element that really pops draws your eye a lot. Like I like the backlighting. I like purple lighting. Anytime you put purple or pink and teal in it makes me happy. But also very much so appreciate this. Anything behind the scenes of showing sculpts or how you made stuff. There's a couple things on proportions on this that feel a little bit off, a little large on the head compared to what I believe this character would normally have. And something to the shoulder to torso. Oh, it's a collie. This is another riot piece, right?
I wonder if when artists have a lot of fan art in their portfolios, if that's their target job that they want to get.
Normally assume so, but it doesn't hurt to see. I like to see a mix. Like if someone just has fan pieces, especially if they're not ours, I want to see a range. Partially to see that you're working from different original pieces. Like what's the origin of these?
But, even, from just the poses, though, I actually don't know what the pieces that is around her back. But right now, is there a way where you could potentially pose the arms that really show off all of those elements instead of maybe a little bit more clearly bringing that dagger, positioning that so there might be a little bit more negative space to show off what that piece is in the back? Could be like another step towards, improving the appeal of the pose.
Yeah, getting a full turnaround is also very helpful. Good attention to construction details on this. Like it's even if something is very not realistic, I like seeing things are like, I'm thinking about how this actually works. And that detail of, you've got what looks like some rust or something wearing away right where these things are connecting.
I'm always thinking about, okay, well, how am I going to push those shoulders up? Or how am I going to bring the arm in front, right? So that's something really that's important even for us when we're considering how we're building our characters. Or what is the range of movement for this particular character? Are they able to create the performances that we're going to need them to create? So that's just an open question for this particular character, is considering not just what the character looks like, but how are those pieces moving, and are they constructive in a way that would allow the character actually be animated in the future?
Yeah, and it's definitely back and forth of maybe you don't have it animate in certain ways so that you can get that look of the character. But in this one, it's definitely shoulders are always a hot topic when it comes to the back and forth between character art and animation. So this would be like, if I lift that shoulder, that piece is going to go straight in your neck.
This would be a fun one for us to collaborate on to understand, okay, how do we get that motion so that they could wield a weapon, etc.
All right, let's go with this one. First glance, you can use this as a way to see which one will I pick. This is impressive. This is 3D. This looks like great treatment on this where it reads as 2D. And I love that. At first I was like, wait, is this just a painting? Very well done on that. I love the proportions. Like this feels really realistic to me. like, it's stylized, obviously, but I believe the forms of her body so much. And she's cute. I love the treatment of the eyes. And the hair is very fun. Very popcorn, or not popcorn, bubblegum. And I love this kind of treatment of you just have some folds to really show what this material is, but you don't need a ton of them. It really lends itself well to this style where, like I said, at first glance, I was like, wait, is this a concept painting? No, it's 3D. This is the most minor of minor notes, but something about the knees being as purple as they are, I'd actually want to push this warmer. This is mostly just kind of unifying with the rest of what we're seeing through here with the brights. Lacey, anything for you?
Yeah, I think for me, always thinking about character and the acting performance. I would love to speak with this artist to say, what is this character's feeling right now? What is this character's thought process? Because I look at her face and I get a little bit of a sense of beguiling, but I'm not quite. It's not super clear. I think it could be pushed a little bit more. And one area that I always like to encourage animators when they're posing, but even creating a concept art like this, is hand gestures. Hand gestures can be so powerful. And right now, I think there's still opportunity where you could really push, is this character evil? Are they sultry? Are they more feminine? Are they, are they being flirty? Right. So I think a lot of hand gestures can help sell that. And I said that's somewhere where I would push the characterization just a little bit more. I love what's happening with the legs and the knees. And I think that there's a little bit of coyness happening. But yeah, if you just look at the upper body, I want to see it in the facial expression, the shoulders and the hands.
Yeah, I think anytime you see the hands just kind of out like this, it's a little bit of a non-committal pose, right? Like push it one way or the other. Last one. All right, let's see. Which one do we want to hit? Lacey, you got to pick this time.
Let's go with this guy with a green character here.
Oh. A lot of people like looking at League of Legends for this stuff.
Yes.
Like the shading, like the rendering on this, the chiseled shapes, where you still believe the anatomy, but it's very stylized. It's fun. Great treatment on the metal. I love choppies like this on metal pieces. Could again push a little bit more on some of these of really making sure the materials are reading separate. Again, metal's kind of an easy one to hit, but as soon as you get into fabrics, it gets a lot trickier. You don't need to have exactly that fine detail, but if you look at how the lighting's hitting it, it reads kind of plastic just because you're getting such a harsh shape on it, like right where the lighting's catching.
There's so many interesting layers that this artist is conveying in this, and I think again with the right side of the body, there's a lot happening, kind of overlapping with each other. So I would love to see some negative space so you can get a sense of where that other arm is in relation to the weapon on the side. I think there's a lot going on. It's kind of happening on top of each other. So I would just encourage this artist to give that a little bit more space and specificity so that you can really get a sense of what's happening on that side of the body.
This was so fun. Thank you so much for donating your time to making our industry better, and I hope it will support newer artists and the ones who have been around for quite a while to pursue their career growth and do just better in the industry. So thank you so much for joining me, and hope to see you next time.
Yeah, thank you for having us, and thank you for doing this for the industry. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And for all of the folks who volunteered their work for the critiques as well.
Yes, thank you.
So thank you all. We really appreciate because it's all in service of helping us all evolve as artists and animators in the industry.